Bug. It's a word we use for pretty much any creepy crawly creature. Insect, arachnid, centipede. If you ask Animal Crossing's resident museum curator, Blathers, even crabs and snails count. Where did the word bug come from, though? All words have an etymology, an origin point and evolutionary path in human language. Some were pulled from fascinating events in history, while others sprung from completely ridiculous places you'd never expect. So, where did we get the word bug? The earliest known use of bug was around 1395 in Wycliffe's Bible. This was one of the first attempts to translate the Christian Holy Book from Latin to Middle English, so it could be read by the common folk of the time. There, a passage can be found that, in modern English, reads, "As a bug or a man of rags, in a place where gourds grow, guards nothing, so are their gods of wood." Yeah, I don't know either. To make the word salad worse, the bug in this passage isn't an arthropod. Future translations rendered bug as scarecrow. Weird, yeah? In Middle English, bug with two G's did actually refer to something like a scarecrow, hobgoblin, or, black man. Before you get the wrong idea, that last one does not refer to skin tone. It could at the time, but in this context, the meaning is an evil spirit, devil, or boogeyman. As the English language evolved, the term bug retained its boogeyman and evil spirit connotations. Though modern speakers rarely use it in this sense, we're left to wonder, when and how did the boogeyman become an insect? Here's the thing, no one's actually sure how we ended up with our bug. The earliest example of the insect meaning was in 1594's Hester's Pearl of Practice. Quote, "This medicine caused many times a certain black bug or worm to come forth, which had many legs and was quick e." Many e's in there. Here, we can still see that funky Middle English spelling, and this remained until at least 1709. The honor of the first written record of the modern spelling goes to the 3rd Earl of Shaftesbury's The Moralists. Quote, "The bug which breeds the butterfly," which is just beautiful. I love it. Don't know what it means, but I love it. As weird as it seems, we have no evidence indicating that this bug spawned from the boogeyman's scarecrow version. It is possible that they're connected, but until we find clear evidence in literature or invent a time machine, the assumption is that they're homophones. Two words that share the same pronunciation, and maybe even spelling, but have completely different meanings and origins. Think gene versus gene. One you wear, while the other is coded into your DNA. If our bug is unrelated to the boogeyman bug, then where could it have come from? In Middle English, there are two similar words, bode and bud. Both words mean some sort of beetle, often a weevil, or other insect that breeds in malt, a dried cereal grain used to make beer and stuff. The earliest appearance of bud was around 1200 in the book Anglo-Saxon and Old English Vocab, while bode appeared as early as 1440 in the Promptorium Parvulovium. Give me a break on that one, I failed Latin class. Despite the meanings, we also have nothing linking either of these words to our bug. The similarities might just be a coincidence. But what if the boogeyman did metamorphose into an insect? How might that have happened? While considering this, I stumbled across one quote that both transitions nicely into my next point and could possibly explain the boogeyman's identity crisis. In yet another translation of the Bible, the 1535 Coverdale version, sorry, this is not a Bible class, I am just as confused as you are, we can find this line, "Thou shalt not need to be afraid for any bugs by night." Here, bug is still referencing evil spirits. For me, though, the line is very reminiscent of an actual bug, one that has historically plagued humanity. At night, in bed, just like the boogeyman. Yeah, it's time we talk about the bed bug. There are 12 recognized species in the genus Cymax, not all of which are human pests. The most infamous member is Cymax lectoralis, the common bedbug. Finding one of these in your hotel room is a nightmare, much less in your own home. Thankfully, these guys don't spread disease, but their bites are very itchy and often cause allergic reactions. Exterminating them can also be very tricky and time-consuming, so entire companies have sprung up just to target their pesky butts. Aside from the obvious, why am I talking about bedbugs? Think about it. An evil spirit in the night. Fear, a boogeyman? If there was ever an insect manifestation of these traits, the bedbug would be it. While the 1500s brought the term bug into use for all sorts of arthropods, it often specifically referred to this insect. They were everywhere back then, as the media of the time might suggest. As an example, in the 1622 play The Virgin Martyr, the character Spungus tries to use a bedbug infestation to ward off the seduction of the character Harpax, a devil in human form who wants nothing more than for them to cast away their faith and loyalty to their master, the titular Virgin Martyr. Does Harpax care? No, bedbugs are nothing for a demon trying to take down the Christian faith. You know, as one did in those times. Even today, the bedbug is still ingrained in our culture. Good night, sleep tight, don't let the bedbugs bite. This is a common saying used to tease young children. Nowadays, it's just playful banter, with bedbugs being uncommon enough that many people can't identify them. In the past, bedbugs really were everywhere. Enough so that they influenced the study of insects as a whole. If you've spent time reading about the insect kingdom, you may have encountered the term true bug. If you're like me and get obsessed with little details, you may have wondered why those bugs in particular are true. Are all other bugs false? Is everything we know a lie? Maybe, but now isn't the time for an existential crisis. True bug is the common name of insects in the order Hemiptera. Some sources restrict it to the suborder Heteroptera, but we'll keep it simple here. This is one of the largest insect orders in the world, surpassed only by beetles. Members are united by their sucking mouthparts, wings, if they have them, that are leathery, close to the body, and membranous towards the tips, and development through incomplete metamorphosis. Examples include shield bugs, cicadas, aphids, and yes, bedbugs. So why true bugs? Back in ye olden days, the characterization of life on Earth was less than organized. People knew that some organisms were related, but since no one agreed on a classification system for them, scientists were all doing their own things and making the tree of life a mess. In the 1700s, this guy named Carl Linnaeus decided that he'd had enough of that nonsense, and blessed us with the binomial name system, along with the use of shared characteristics to group related organisms. From this, the discipline known as taxonomy was born, and the rest is history. Since bedbugs were everywhere when Linnaeus slapped some sense into biologists, it was easy for early taxonomists to study their anatomy and compare them to other insects. They were quickly placed in the order Hemiptera. As infamous as they were, it didn't take long for the bedbug's common name to start seeping over onto other hemipterans. Thus, they all became the true bugs. Fun. That being said, some of the bugs we call bugs technically aren't bugs at all. Stink bugs, wheel bugs, assassin bugs, those are bugs. They're all hemipterans. Ladybugs, June bugs, sow bugs, not bugs. That's 2 beetles and a crustacean. Common names are a pain. Rest assured, in everyday speech, it's totally okay to call all creepy crawlies bugs. Even entomologists use the term. Unless you know what to look for, it can be tough to pick the true bugs from the imposters. So don't worry too much about their semantics. Oh, and in case you're wondering, before bedbugs were bugs, they were known as wall lice or punays. Punays?
Punays.
That. They are kind of like lice that live in walls, so that one makes sense. Disclaimer, lice are not true bugs either. But punays, I have no idea. I obviously don't speak French, but Google says that translates to thumbtack and can apparently still mean bedbug. It did stem from an old French word meaning stinking or fetid, and bedbug infested spaces do have a distinctive smell, so maybe it has to do with that? I dunno. I really hate bedbugs. Roll those credits. Thanks for exploring Planet Arthropoda with me. Have any questions about arthropods you'd like answers to? Leave them in the comments below. Subscribe to explore the wonderful world of our arthropod overlords with me. Until next time, peace. For the love of all that is good, don't let the bedbugs bite.